coming to the zone here. 10 back. 5. Green, green, green.
Hello and welcome back to the Hot Lap, your home for everything INRS racing. I'm Clark Franz, driver of the number 15 Chevrolet Camaro for Roadrunner Motorsports.
I'm Tony Japs, driver of the number 42 Chevrolet Camaro for Apex Motorsports.
I'm Vernon Broadbeck, driver of number 10 Chevrolet Camaro for Roadrunner Motorsports.
Number 77, Corey Bunch, Full Throttle Motorsports. Hey, can I just say something real quick? Superspeedways, fuel mileage, last lap wrecks. All right, that's all I got. Sorry.
That's a lot of bleeping.
Yeah.
Putting my editing skills to test really quick here this episode. So,
yes.
Yeah, so topic 1, fitting, is going to be Daytona, and we're going to dive right into it. First off, before we even jump in, Garrett Walden, congrats on the win. Excited to see you locked into the playoffs there. Corey, since you got some big opinions on this race, I'm going to jump to you first, and I want to know about the fuel save. Did you enjoy it or no?
God, no. Absolutely not. No, it's just, this is, I don't know. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. And, you know, it was never really like that last year because I don't ever remember having the safe fuel at all.
We did
last year in the, that's what I was thinking. So, and I don't know if it's where we're started running 50% fuel or 60, whichever one it is now. I think it's 50 now. But, you know, just, and with these stages, they get so close to, you know, the stages where you have to pit, and so then the lead car, whoever on the draft, you just have to just back people up, and you can't, and you want to just go so bad, but you can't, otherwise you'll be like 2 laps short of fuel. It's just not fun. It's not really racing. It's just pacing at its finest for 98% of the race, and then on 2% you can actually go, you know, if you make it through a last lap wreck.
So Vernon a little higher up at the finish in 5th place. Is your opinion a little bit different, or are you feeling the same way as Corey?
I hated the fuel save. I get it. You want to make it, cut it as short as possible. You want less pit stops so you can get, you know, to the end without, like, I don't know how to describe it, but regardless, I get it. But God, that's boring. The broadcast had to have been boring. I know Todd Smith said that he loved it, the broadcast. You know, you're gonna have different people's views. I know the real life race strategies, but the difference between the real race and what we did was we did single file on the bottom the entire freaking race, and the Cup guys in real life were running 3 wide, saving fuel. Like, if we were doing that, you know, jockeying back and forth per position, going 2 wide, 3 wide. Well, not really 3 wide. I'd prefer not to go 3 wide because that's how wrecks happen. But 2 wide racing would have been, I think, would have been a lot better when it comes to the fuel saving. I wouldn't have been as upset. But the last lap wreck, I really wish didn't happen because that one shook the entire standings up, the end of the race up.
It shook me up because I was just riding along in the top lane and it got absolutely clobbered. Tony, are you in the same boat as those two?
Man, I hate the fuel save. Absolutely hate it. There was a point in the first stage where me and the 30 drafted up to the front, and I was at half throttle. I never broke 67% throttle the entire first stage, and led 2 or 3 laps up there. So, and then stayed behind the 30 for most of it. I mean, I shouldn't. My opinion is I shouldn't be able to drive half throttle up to the lead from, you know, second to last. But I don't know.
I kind of split the fuel save into 2 different sections because I think the first fuel save in the first stage is different than the second fuel save in terms of just the strategy behind it. Like the first fuel save was just a survival to get there without having to pit, and I understood it. And then the second one, I would have preferred not to fuel save, but once the bed was made and you were fuel saving, you couldn't get out of it. Otherwise, you'd be off strategy and you were never going to have a chance. I don't think fuel saving is good at a track like this. I think at a track like Pocono, where Alex Forget won. I think that's a good fuel save, but at a plate race, you should be hammered down. I think we could probably all agree on that. Vernon, you kind of alluded to this, the single file running. What was the pack temperament like for the people that were around you?
I mean, it seemed fairly good. Jeffers let me in one time because I got strung out on the outside, and I was the only car up there, and he let the door open for me, so let me in. I mean, there's give and take. There's guys letting you in. Like if they're like you're gonna use the fuel to get up here, we'll let you in, and you're gonna be sitting less fuel than us either way. But I mean, that first stage really wasn't. The first stage really wasn't a lot of fighting and not giving people spots. It was the people up front made their beds. They were going to have to pit. So from there, it was just right around to the last lap before you made your move for the stage points.
Corey, my stat sheet's showing that you had 3 laps led. Were you having any trouble fighting through traffic getting up there?
Knowing everybody was fuel saving, no, I didn't. That was really the only time I led the lap was when people started saving fuel early on, and I was like, well, all right, we'll just because I think it was one of the Musos, Austin Walton, and then myself, and then we just 3 cars just went up in the top lane, and we just started doing that rotation kind of deal. Like if one person would get ahead, they'd go down the bottom lane, and the next car up, and so and then finally I got myself up there with Simon, and I had the lead for like 3 laps or so with Simon behind me trying to, and I figured I had to save fuel as well, so I tried to back up the field, and then I forget who it was. I can't remember if it was the row runner guys or whoever it was, but I got passed on the outside, and that was kind of really the end of that. So, you know, it's easy to say, oh yeah, we could have made our way up to the front, but it makes it easy when everyone else is having to save fuel. So
I don't think it's too hard to pass when you're full throttle and everybody else is about 60% throttle.
yeah.
Now that last about 5 laps and then that last restart was quite a bit different in terms of how hard it was to pass. I mean, we were log jammed, especially coming through the tri-oval there. Tony, how'd that last restart go for you?
It went decent, honestly. I stayed out a lot more cars than I expected to pit came down pit road. I guess people thought they were shorter on gas than they should have been, and everything went good until it didn't. So I think it was Wetzel got shuffled out, and I was on the inside going through the tri-oval, and I was paying attention to where Booth was because I was going to push Booth because obviously a new winner kind of hurt my chances a little bit. And I was following Booth and drifted up a little bit and made contact with the 81, and the rest is history. We had a lot of torn up race cars.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Tony, if you would have just went with me on the restart, we wouldn't have been in that problem.
Yeah, I had a chance to go with old Vernon there, and he said, let's go, and I didn't process it quick enough. So
Talking about some craziness on that last restart, Vernon, you looked like you were possibly going to get a top 2 finish and then wash your way back to 5th. You want to walk us through that?
Yeah, I know Booth said that he was going to push Garrett to a win, and I was behind Garrett, who was in the lead, and it was just us two, and they were coming with a full head of steam, and I kind of went out to block Booth, and then he jumped down, and then all 3, Martin, Pinnell, and Wenzel all went with them, so I got shuffled back to 5th, which, it's whatever. It's still top 5. I'm not going to complain about it. I still, Booth says he was going to side draft the heck out of me to slow me down to let Garrett win. And I'm sitting here like, you had way too much speed. You would have had to slam the brake in. It would have been a wreck because Martin and Wenzel were pushing him the entire way.
It was a fun one to watch back. I watched it back on the replay, and I think it was a good ending to the race. All in all, I don't disagree with Todd Smith. I still think it was a good product for the viewers. I think that most viewers don't realize that we're part throttling. They just see 2 different packs, and then they see the second pack's gaining on the first, and the first is fuel saving. and it might not be fun for the drivers, but I don't know if I'd say I enjoyed it. I didn't mind it, I guess I could say. You know who I will say was hard to pass though was Scott Thomas. Man, he did not want to do the single file train. He was making it hard on everybody to get around him.
God said fuel save. What fuel save?
Yeah, for real. During that first fuel save, everybody's single file, and he's just hammering down on the outside. And we're like losing the pack in front of us. I'm like, please, please, just jump in behind us. But it all worked out for him decently well. He finished 15th, not a terrible day.
He led
Led
6
6
laps.
laps. Yeah.
I pushed into the lead at one point on the final fuel run. I was like, all right, we got the pack. Let's go. I was like, everybody kept dropping down, single file, and I just pushed Scott to the lead. We took over the lead, and when the racing took over,
There was a point coming to pit stops that I was towards the back of the pack, and I really didn't want to be that far back because I'm terrible at getting onto pit road. And I just dove up to the high side and drove 2 of us all the way up to the front so I could get, a better position getting on the pit road. But
Yeah, during that part throttle portion, if you paired up with at least one person, if not 2, you could really make some moves and then just jump back in line. It wasn't too hard to shuffle positions. Everybody was pretty forgiving, which I will say I'm thankful for. I think everybody raced pretty respectfully the entire race. You know, talk about calling your shots. I've heard for the last 4 weeks probably that Garrett Walden's going to win this race. From Booth, Walden, Eric Jeffers, just about everybody, and by God, Garrett Walden won. So congrats, man.
we're going to reach out to Booth for the winning lottery numbers this week.
All right, we're going to move on to another new segment of the show. It's going to be called Put It Out. I'm going to bring up some topics. Probably going to lead to some discussion here, and I want either a green flag, a yellow flag, or red. So green's you're going to agree with it. Yellow's you're kind of on the fence, and red is complete disagreement.
We don't get a black.
I mean,
'Cause
if you want to,
I feel like we need a black.
or like a white flag, if you just want to roll over and give up too,
Well, yeah, that too. I may need that as well.
Tony, I'm going to start with you though, and the first one we're going to go with is the changing of the fuel amount for next year. What are your thoughts on that?
Green flag. I don't mind a fuel strategy race every now and then, but every plate race that we've had, and in real life too, has turned into a fuel save race, and it's just not as fun to putt around there half throttle for 2 hours when you could be racing.
I'd probably go green flag because, like Tony says, it takes away a lot of the fuel strategy, and especially at plate races. We haven't really had a whole lot of fuel strategy outside of that on the 1.5 mile tracks from what I've seen. A lot of it's come down to timely cautions and just knowing what type of fuel you're going to get in your car or what type of fuel you're going to run out of it. I know Michigan was a different fuel strategy and it came down to a caution though. I think 8 of us went down pit road and topped off, and we were able to one stop it from there. So I agree with the increase in fuel. It'll make a lot of the stage races. You'll be able to make the stages on fuel, which will allow the tires to come into play more.
Yeah, I would have said like yellow flag at first, but for the sake of as long we don't have to just save fuel on super speedways, I'm gonna give it a green flag because last year we went 50%, and there was no way you could be able to save enough, at least at tracks like that, to be able to make the stage. This year, you're right there at the mark. So with us having more fuel now, we'll definitely be able to make it through the stage then if we're going by the same stage distance from the end of the actual race distance or so. So yeah, I say green flag to it.
Yellow flag. I'm indifferent on it. I want to see it first. You're making my job hard this week, Corey. I'm having to jot down when you're cussing so I can go back in and edit them out. But I think it might be a red flag on that, but I get it. You're heated. I like it. It gives us stuff to talk about. Next top.
I know. I just hate it, man. It's got me all sour, and I can't be. I try to be happy for Garrett for winning, but just how the race went for myself overall is just wasn't a pleasant experience. So, and in advance from here on out, I apologize, everybody.
I can attest that Corey was not happy in the chat.
No.
Since you got some heated opinions here today, Corey, the next one's gonna be for you as well. To start out with is gonna be the no fast repair and the EOL rule. If whether or not you think it's good, and maybe some potential changes with track to track basis.
Oh, keep it as it is. I mean, I'm fine with the no fast repairs. It don't matter to me if Whitley gets screwed out of being so many wrecks, and the one times that he never used a fast repair, he needs them by those races that he gets wrecked out of or get caught up in something. But I think it's still a good thing to have no fast repairs at all. The EOL is it's still kind of still a work in progress, but it's getting better. So I'll give that a green flag as well. It's I like it the way it is, and it's getting better from there.
I'm right now. I'm green flag with the changes to at least the fast repair not having it. I know for Corey's sake, not having a fast repair really. Was it? Did you wreck before the caution on the caution or coming to the white?
That was the last lap I wrecked.
So I guess the fast repair really don't screw you there then.
Well, yeah.
The
So that's
caution's not coming out.
right. Yeah. So I mean, we all screwed either way. So
Yeah. That one really don't hurt you. I'm green flag on the fast repairs because it has tamed the field a little bit. It's made the racing a lot better. We've cut down cautions. I mean, heck, we 2 cautions at Daytona, and only one of them was a wreck. The other one was the stage, which that's fairly insane from probably where we started.
well, the reason I say that too because I know it was probably like I think within 10 to go or something like that. I know Whitley got screwed out of that because of where he got involved in Tyler Sexton and Murphy's mess. And I know he was saying that, man, if I had that fast repair, and there's been a lot of races recently to where he could have used it, but it's still is what it is on that. So
Believe me and Eric Jeffers were wishing that caution never came out because we were in the lead at that point.
yeah.
I'm green flag on the fast repair, not having it. I hate to say it, Whitley's really the true one that's been screwed out of it. The racing's been tame, a lot tamer since we went to no fast repair. Unfortunately, I think Whitley's only had 2 clean races that he hasn't got caught up in somebody else's stuff since we went to no fast repair. And I like the EOL rule. Just gotta make sure we time it right, where it's not you're not getting caught on pit road and getting passing under yellow penalties. But I think we've got that all fine tuned. So
Tony, I'm gonna have you start on this next one. It's gonna be your thoughts on the win in your in format. I know that we follow NASCAR's rules, but I'm just curious if you're on board with that.
I'm gonna give that a yellow flag. And the biggest reason is because we've got, and in real life too, I mean, Harrison Burton has no business in the playoffs. We got people in the league that, they've got wins that if it wasn't for the fact that, winning you're in, they still wouldn't necessarily be in contention for a playoff spot, or for a championship. But I get it. In real life, it breeds excitement. It breeds that entertainment factor. So I'm kind of on the fence about it. I don't necessarily like it, but I don't necessarily hate it either.
I would say that I'm a yellow flag as well on that one. The only reason I say that, and it all comes down to where you have that cutoff for points wise getting in. If you do cut it down to you have to be at this spot for points to get in, because I mean, essentially what happened was if you have that points cutoff and Garrett's underneath it, Jordan and Corey, and I don't think anybody's pushing him to a win. They're all trying to get those points themselves. Instead, they're pushing Garrett to a win, and I'm not saying he's a bad driver because he is a good driver. He's had good finishes. He's had some unlucky breaks, but he's 21st in points. He was 23rd in points coming into Daytona. If you have a cutoff at say 20th, right now he's still not in. Now, granted, he's only 4 points out, but you have the guys with 6, 4, 4, and 1 and 3, and you have wins who are in the playoffs. They're going to go for the win because they want those points. But because you don't have a cutoff, and Booth was wanting to push Mike Wheel to a win, and no offense to Mike Wheel, that all that does is help Booth. All that does is help Wentz. All it does is help Bunch. Right now, with where I'm sitting in points, it helps me. It doesn't help the guys who are down there in 15th, 14th, 13th, and going into the playoff points, because that's one more guy that they've now got to worry about taking a spot in the round of 12 or something like that. The guys up top in the standings, they want guys who aren't competition to them when it comes to advancing to another round. And like I said, it's nothing against Garrett. It's just you got guys who are 21st in points, and he could be running a lot better, but you put him in the playoffs now. Now Booth's got one less person to worry about when it comes to advancing rounds.
If we're talking about real life, red flag. Make it top 25. Now for the league, I don't know, because I kind of like it the way it is because of the fact that people who has won races and just never bother to show back up again. Well, we have a thing to where you can only miss up to so many races, and if you go over that, then you're automatically out. Like it don't even matter. So I guess I'd probably just give it a yellow flag. I mean, I don't care much for it, but I like it that you can't have just part-time people just going and winning a race and then, oh yeah, I'll see you at the playoffs 3 months later. It just don't work out that way. So I'd probably just give it a yellow flag. But if we're talking about real life NASCAR, red flag it, mandatory. You got to be in the top 25 to be eligible. Done.
I'm pretty similar to your opinion, Corey. With if I'm understanding you right, in terms of you said make it top 25. The way that I'm thinking of it for real life is a win and you're in with the stipulation of you still must maintain a spot within the top 25. Is that what you're hinting at?
Yeah. Kind of like
Because-
kind of like the top 30 and older points. What they used to have it until they got rid of it for some reason.
Because I wouldn't mind that if you're a win and you're in and you're within the top 25, you're still within a decent level of contention of one of those actual open spots versus a win and you're in and you're way outside, which is what Harrison Burton did. Now, Garrett Walden's not that way. Garrett Walden's in 21st going into the race. So I think, I would be green flag for him getting in. I do see what you're saying, Vernon, where it's to them, they're pushing a friend to a victory, but at the same time, it's not someone who I think is going to compete with them at Phoenix. They're not too worried about it. I think if somehow Wenzel had a terrible year and was on the outside of the bubble looking in, I don't think Jordan Booth's going to be pushing him down the front stretch to win that race.
There's no way he's helping Jordan, not with the type of driver, even if having a down year.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next topic here. And it's going to be the Phoenix race being the championship race, Vernon.
I'm yellow. I'm not fully red, but I'm leaning more towards red. I wish we go back to Homestead. I know. I know real life Homestead they're looking to update the track and make it better so fan experience is better, so they can bring the championship back to Homestead. But I mean, Phoenix is it's a good track. I don't see it as the championship track.
Black flag. Stop scoring it. I don't like Phoenix. I think that's another one of those. It goes back to the manufactured entertainment. I liked Homestead as a championship race, but I really think that move the championship race around. I understand we're limited in November where we can go and race, but move the championship race around to different tracks. That way, you know, you don't have one guy that is like, for instance, in the league, if Brogdon was still here and Brogdon made the Final Four, you might as well just give him the championship. So move it around.
I think, Corey, you want the championship to be moved to Daytona or Talladega, right?
Corey wants it to
Definitely
go to
doesn't want
Richmond.
it Richmond.
Well, too bad that they've lost the dates. I know that ain't happening, but well, if you want a manufactured entertainment, then yeah, sure, move it to Talladega or Daytona or even Atlanta. I mean, yeah, well, you know, go ahead and put it over to Atlanta. But at this point, red flag. Phoenix sucks. Nice facility in the infield. I've been there, and it's top notch. But track sucks. I hate it. Let's go back to Homestead. Simple.
I like Homestead, but I wouldn't be opposed to bouncing it around as well.
Let's send it to Charlotte.
Well, I mean, it's the heart of stock car racing. I don't know what the weather's like there in November.
Sucks.
It ain't terrible.
It can't be as bad as Ohio, I'll tell you that. So
We're not going to Watkins Glen, that's for sure.
yeah, Watkins Glen's probably gonna be a no-go. New Hampshire's definitely a no-go.
Any short track that Corey's good at, no go.
Well, we could go to Auto Club. Oh wait, never mind.
That's what I'm saying. Too bad they got rid of Fontana.
That'd be I feel like that'd be a pretty fun one to run a championship at.
That would be fun. I miss it
Oh, yeah.
already.
We're gonna move on to Fast Facts, and Vernon, the spotlight's moving to you this week.
Yay!
Ask you a series of questions, and just need you to answer them.
All right, let's do this.
How old are you, man?
30. Old.
30 years old. What do you do for a living?
Currently, I fold paper that gets put into magazines and books. But in college for cybersecurity, so hoping to change that in 3 years.
Nice. Are you enjoying the studies?
Yeah, I've actually had cybersecurity classes, so it's different. I hate the fact that I'm back in school. Never liked it, but you know, got to do what you got to do to get a career job.
Where do you live?
Well, we're going to keep the theme of the podcast going. Small town in Ohio called Chickasaw.
Sounds like Indian reservation.
It's not, but you know, yeah, it's well, it's not even a town; it's a village.
So you're talking like one stoplight.
0 stoplights in the village of Chickasaw.
0 stoplights. Wow.
Do you have a Dollar General?
No, we have
Okay.
a gas station, a library, a church, an automobile shop, and a bar. Oh, and a recycling center.
What's your nearest Walmart?
About 30 minutes. Oh, Clark, you should know this. You live next to that Walmart.
Oh, is it that close to?
Yeah, Salina.
Really?
Yep.
I never even heard of that village. Shows how much I know.
I was going to say, Vernon, if you don't have a Dollar General nearby, you will in the next 2 weeks.
There's a Dollar General about 5 minutes east. There's a Chiefs about 10 minutes west. And then there's a Walmart about 30 minutes north.
Do you have a Chipotle anywhere nearby?
No, but we have hotheads.
Hotheads is way worse than Chipotle.
Ah, you're crazy.
I'm gonna throw the red flag on that opinion there.
Love hotheads. Not a big fan of Chipotle.
No, Chipotle's where it's at. So, how'd you get into iRacing?
I've always been a fan of NASCAR. Always watched it. Always played the game since I can remember 2000. I really got into it in 2004 when I played NASCAR Thunder 04. But you know, typical theme of the podcast again is saw it on TV when COVID hit and watched the real guys play on there. My brother already had iRacing, so I kind of like was like, hey, let me let me get an account on your computer and your steering wheel. Let me use it for a little bit. And he did. And I got addicted. So yeah, about 2020. I didn't really get into it till about actually 2021, but don't regret it.
What kind of setup do you have?
Just upgraded to Mazda R9, CSP V2, I think, steering wheel. I can't remember which one. And then the CRP pedals, load cell pedals. And then I'm on a wheelie chair and a desk.
Wheelie chair and a desk, going Jordan Booth style.
Yeah, can't afford a rig.
So we've already talked about it on here. You like golf. You're good at golf. So
Love golf.
excluding racing and excluding golf, if you're not doing one of those two things, what other hobbies you got?
Well, starting next week, bowling season is back. So on Wednesday nights, I'll be bowling leagues. And then outside of that, just really playing video games like Escape from Tarkov and college football.
Do you have any 300 games in bowling?
No, I have a 299 though.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, that one hurts.
Do you lose it in the last frame, or how do you get a 299?
So the last frame, the 12th frame, or your 10th frame, you throw 2 straight strikes. So you have 11 total throughout the game, and then you throw a 9.
Ouch.
Yeah. The
That's-
pin's stuck, and yeah, that one hurt.
That's got to be rough, but hopefully you can get back there and get a 300.
I hope so. I hope to do it during league and get a share of $3,000.
Well, if you're just missing that one pin, just walk over there and just kick that pin over, get the 300. There you go.
I wish I can't get down there in time.
Got to be quicker than that.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad we get to know you a little bit more, man.
I appreciate it.
Before we head into the race at Darlington, we're going to take a look into the playoff bubble here. And we're going to actually start out with Xfinity because they're going to come up here to a race. They're going to be running 110 laps here at Darlington this week in the Sport Clips, Haircuts, VFW, Help a Hero 150. I'm going to run through the entire standings here. And first we got Andrew Ratcliffe, 7 wins. Second, Michael Whitley with 2 wins. Third, we got Grady Gherkin. Fourth, Jordan Booth. Fifth, Eric Jeffers. Sixth, Todd Smith. Seventh, Jacob Mossow. In eighth, we got the number 67 machine of Corey Ennis. Ninth, Chris Bass. 10th, Jacob Loesch. 11th, Tony, plus 12 to the cut line. 12th place, we got Matt Parasini, plus 3 to the cut line. And then just below the cut line, we've got 13th, Tyler Lem. 14th, Joseph Mossow. 15th, Garrett Walden. And 16th, James Jones. And it looks like you guys have 4 more races to the cut here. So, Tony, how are you feeling being plus 12 there?
Pretty good. The Eric is gonna fall below the cut because he's gonna miss too many races to make the cut for the playoffs. So that line's actually gonna move down below Tyler Lim. I think we're pretty good. We just got to be consistent the next few races and hope for not too many new winners.
With only 4 left and only 7 locked in, I think winner-wise, hopefully should be good to go. Atlanta might have a new unexpected winner, but I guess you could see. Now, I have not watched much of the Xfinity series. Is Andrew Ratcliffe pretty much a step above the rest?
Shoe in for championship 4. Shoe in.
He's already won the championship. It's sitting in his hauler.
I see Booth's got 2 wins. Does he race much in that league?
No.
No.
I think Andrew's best competition might be Grady, because even though Whitley had those 2 wins early on, but I don't think he's going to have anything for him there really. But I think it'll come down to be Andrew and Grady just being the class of the field, which with of course Andrew's going to be the one that he's going to be the Brogdon of the last 2 seasons. He's going to just destroy everybody in this Xfinity series. If I were to place a bet on him now, he'd be like minus 1,000. I'd have to put down $1,000 just to even make a profit.
He's not even the Brogdon. Andrew in the Xfinity series is like Kyle Busch going down to the truck series. I mean, Andrew's a step above everybody there.
Unless it's on road courses or saving fuel.
He can't save fuel and he can't turn right.
So what I'm hearing is that he needs to move up to the Cup Series next year, maybe.
Won't happen.
He hates the Cup car. He won't do it.
That's a bummer.
Now, if we ran 87s, he'd come kick our ass.
I'm curious if they're going to try to push Garrett to another win at Atlanta. He's sitting in 15th, 87 back. It's a pretty big jump, but he might be able to make it without a win. I guess we'll see there. But best of luck to all you guys in the Xfinity Series as you head towards Darlington. And before we talk about our playoff bubble in the Cup Series, I'm going to run through our standings as well, since it's the last race before the cut. And first, we've got Jordan Booth with 6 wins. Second place, Jordan Wenzel with 4. Third place, Corey Bunch. He's a terrible driver, but he managed 4 wins.
Shocker.
Fourth place, Alex Forget Barube, 3 wins. Fifth place, our own Vernon Broadbeck, 1 win. Sixth place, Tyler Lem with 1 win. Seventh, Brennan Hayes with 1. Eighth, we got Simon Magin with 1 win. Ninth, Martin Giroux, also with 1. 10th, coming off a win at Daytona, we have Garrett Walden. 11th, locked in with no win, Alex Murphy. 12th, also locked in with no win, the number 94, Michael Whitley. 13th, we have Eric Jeffers, 74 to the good to the cut line. 14th, Joseph Mossau, plus 67. 15th, we have you, Tony, plus 33. 16th, Ty Bostic, plus 32. And then just below the cut line, 17th, Vince Burns off of 2 rough weeks, minus 32. 18th is going to be Matt Robinson, minus 35. Tony, you're close to the cut line. I'm going to start with you on this one, but I don't think without a win anybody's going to be moving that cut line. Hey, would you agree with that?
Yeah. I'd have to have Vince Burns would have to have a really stellar Darlington, which is possible, and I'd have to have a really crappy Darlington, which again is possible. But I don't think without a new winner that cut line changes very much.
So what I heard is qualify behind Tony, take him out lap 1, and then push Vince to a top 5.
I'll do it.
Okay. It still have to be pretty good. So
Fine. Take Tony out lap 1, blow his engine, come back after 33 minutes of repairs, take him out on whatever lap that is,
Well, just
and then really just
we'll just do what Forget did the Booth last time at Darlington. They both just slam each other in the wall and knock out Booth's toe link and just really destroy him then. Because then they have no choice but to be multiple laps. It'd be no choice but to go multiple laps down.
I don't need any help destroying myself at
But
Darlington.
he still Booth did that and still finished 22nd.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is going to be how many cars show up.
If we get 29 and you finish last, Tony, you get 8 points. If Vince finished top 5 with stage points, he would get, or heck, even without stage points, he'd get 32, which would be, not quite enough. It'd be 24. But if he does get stage points,
Like I said, it's still possible. Realistically, Eric and Jacob Mossau are locked in as well.
If they show up, yes.
Yeah, if they show up. So, oh no, it's gonna be fun.
I think it's going to have to take a new winner to change the top 16. That would be my prediction there. Corey, who are you going to take for the winner?
It's going to be obvious. I think it's going to be Mr. Jordan Wenzel. I think he probably wants some redemption from Darlington for where I think the past 2 times he's not had the best time. But
He finished 3rd.
Yeah, but I know I keep thinking about the throwback weekend last year when it was me and him that was first to second, and he got took out by a lap car, and it kind of destroyed his time then. But the last time I don't remember him much from that race, but then again, I was too busy taking out Brendan Hayes and making risky 3 wide moves towards the end of that race last time. So, but I think Mr. Wenzel he'll get it done.
Tony, who are you going to take this week?
Brandon Hayes, until, like Corey said, he took him out. He ran a strong race in May. He had an average running position of 2.2. But I'm going to go with the guy that finished second in the spring and second in this race last year. I'm going to go with Corey Bunch.
Vernon, who are you going to take?
Well, I thought Tony was going to take him from me, but I got to go with Brennan Hayes. I know him and Corey got into it and kind of ruined Brennan's day. That was coming to the end of the race, so they're racing hard for a win. Like I don't see that
There was no
being
mountain
bad.
time.
I don't see that being bad at all with the racing. He finished 11th, but he was running up there. I like the pick bunch of taking Wenzel, but and now that I'm gonna bring up a little bit of bad blood from that race with Wenzel, and I don't think Eric Jeffers lets him. If he's in front of Wenzel, I don't think he lets him by easily because last I recall he was pretty mad at Wenzel for the way he raced him, and ultimately Eric ended up wrecking me in that altercation. I didn't take any. I mean, I was pretty livid when it happened, but looking back at it, it is what it is. I had a different incident with Wenzel that ended my day. That wasn't any of his fault. It was all mine. But yeah, I just don't see Wenzel. If he's behind Eric, I don't see Eric giving him any breaks.
And for people who don't know, all you have to remember is, well, you think you can let me go? No.
No.
Yep. If Wenzel gets stuck behind Eric at any point in that race, Eric's gonna make it super hard for him to pass. And I mean, when I say super hard, he's gonna race him like a jack.
Well, especially for a win, because keep in mind Eric's not won yet, and
Exactly.
I know he's about to come up to almost a year since he last won, and I know he's very, very eager wanting to get that 12 car in the victory lane, which I hope he does. But that'd be a good track for him if he can do it.
Sorry,
Especially
Jordan.
with-
I know how to bring bad blood back up into that, but yeah. You're welcome, Eric. If you needed a reminder. Sorry, Jordan. If you needed a reminder. I make fun for the regular season finale.
I'm going to pick the number 30 machine of Alex Murphy. He led 11 laps in the spring, not too far off the pace from the fastest lap. And I see him as being another one. Yes, he's locked in, but I think he's better than what just being locked in shows. I think that he's more than capable of being a race winner, and I think that he's going to get it done at Darlington. Anybody have anything to add before I close it off?
Apex contract offer still in the spam folder. I'm not opening it yet.
The cookies are still on the table for Roadrunner Motorsports, especially with Clark looking at spotting.
Is there an expiration date on that?
I'm not spotting. I'm going to race.
You are.
Yes, I'm going to race.
Okay, cool. Well, there's still a spot open, but no, I eat the cookies before they expire, and then I put the new ones out.
Okay,
Oh,
so it
very
basically
well.
gets rotated. All right, good deal.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get this body shape by not eating.
It's like what Whitley said one time. It's like, you don't get a body like I got if you just if you want chalky milk.
Well, that's going to close it off for this week. As always, thank you to all the listeners for tuning in. Best of luck to all of you that are racing at Darlington. We look forward to having you back next week after the race. See if we can go over who is now in the playoffs. I think it'd be pretty exciting if we get another unknown winner. So best of luck to all you guys out there that do not have a win yet. Take care. Peace out.
See?
Later.